Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 866 of the Two Dum Yinzers. I'd like to say everybody this morning, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yeah, great to be alive, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is the Two Dum Yinzers. This is Miami Dolphins week. Steelers have the Dolphins next on the schedule. Monday Night Football. Come in with a 3.5-point advantage. I'm sorry, we're 3.5-point favorites. The Dolphins have a 3.5-point advantage coming in, and this is what we're up against, guys. A lot of information about this game coming up today. We're going to talk about this, a little bit of Mike Tomlin press conference, and just some other random news and interesting information about our Pittsburgh Steelers as we get ready for this Week 15 battle. Just as important as any of them. And I can see, even for the Steelers, how this can be a game that you could overlook. They better not fall into that trap, because I just don't think that we're good enough to overlook teams right now. And it's all about the mindset. I think we proved that last week against the Ravens. It's more about preparation and being ready and being prepared and getting out there and just doing what it is that you do. It didn't seem like there was a whole lot of overthinking. And they just went out there and played football. And that's something different than we've seen earlier. And we're also going to take a look at how the playoffs might play out for the Steelers. We're going to look at the current playoff tree, what it looks like right now, who we play, and who could possibly give us trouble along the way, and who could also be a winnable game for us. We'll get into that and so much more today. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I do want to say good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Good morning to Richard. Always great seeing Richard on the board, my man. Hope everything's going well for you. Hope you're ready for the big game. 4 games left in the regular season. It's getting down to it, guys. And also a couple of we're going to throw some ideas around today. Why is it such an interesting season? Why is this season so bizarre? Why is it so weird? Why does every single game come down to the last drive? Why does I don't know. It's kind of sitting all out with me this season is, and again, is this latest addition to the Indianapolis Colts offense. Is it part of also the bizarreness of what the season has been so far? I think that it is. We'll get into that and so much more today. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good morning to Lindsay. Always great seeing Lindsay on the board. Hope all is well for you. Yinzer Nation, let's fucking go. That's right, baby. Tortilla, my man, what's going up over on the West Coast? Tortilla Jackson, good morning, sir. And also good morning to Kenneth. Always great seeing my man Kenneth on the board. Welcome back to the show, guys, as we get ready for a big, and I mean a big matchup. Because again, as I was saying yesterday, Pittsburgh Steelers could steal that play. They could steal that division before we even have to play the Ravens again. And I got to be honest with you, I like our chances. And we'll get into that and a whole lot more today. So much to go over as we are, again, hump day already. This week is flying by. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be the weekend before you know it. But you know what? Unfortunately, we have to sit through the weekend and watch a bunch of other teams before we can get to our game on Monday night. But that's all right. We can see how the other teams look. We can see how the Ravens do. We can see how Cincy does and everybody else. So, again, I like my Sunday afternoons, but every once in a while, whatever. I know Mike doesn't like it enough, especially now. He has this extremely busy holiday schedule at his work. So I know he's not looking forward to the Monday night game at all. But it be what it be, guys. It's been on the schedule for quite some time. We're going to figure out how we could win at least a half of these last 4 games and maybe more. And as I said, we could wrap up the division. We could wrap up the division before we even have to play the Ravens again, guys. And I think that it's definitely a possibility. From what I seen last week to who they play, to who we play, it's definitely a possibility. We're going to get that and so much more today. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I do have a special announcement. I want to wait. I'm going to give a couple more minutes. I'm going to see, I'm going to let some people roll in. But I got a big announcement about yesterday's show. I think that you guys are going to like this. It was a busy one on my part. If I didn't live up to standards, I apologize. It was very busy. I was trying to get 2 days worth of information out. Plus, we had a Ravens fan in here. But I have a super big announcement, guys. I will announce it here in just a few moments on the show regarding yesterday's show. What else? What else do we got? Let me say these 2 things before we do get started because there's a lot of Steelers scoop today, and it's going to be Steelers for the duration. You know how it goes. I just want to put it out like this. The Buccos are battling Buccos here in Pittsburgh. They get the number 5 pick overall in the upcoming lottery, and that makes them ineligible for the 2027 draft because they have 2 top 6 picks 2 years in a row. That takes them out of eligibility to get one of the top lottery pick next year. And also the Pittsburgh Penguins, they lose yesterday 4-3 to the Ducks at home. 1.1 second. 0.1 second what was left in the game. And this is when the Ducks scored to tie it up. They go to overtime. They lose in a shootout 4-3. Penguins drop to 14-7-7. They will be back at it tomorrow night at home, hosting the Montreal Canadiens, 7 o'clock. I think Derpy is going to hop on. No, I can't do it now. I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll save that for you. Good morning. Good morning to Mark Malone. Always great seeing Mark Malone. He says, Derpy pull strap on out of ass. Ryan McPherson, my man. Rymac, what's up, brother? Always great seeing you on a terrible board. Always representing. Trash talking, for sure. My man Jamal, my man Tyrone, everybody over there. It's always great to see you guys. I was going to swing over last night. I was going to wait to tell Jamal when he got here, or Tyrone. I stopped by, but I thought you guys were going to be on, and you weren't. Maybe tonight. See what you guys are up to. But I was keeping an eye open for you guys to see what was going on. I got to get on the show. I'm the only one here that hasn't been on yet. Dorothy's been on. Finch has been on. Mike has been on. Maybe give me your not on the board, but give me your communication numbers. Maybe I gotta get a hold of you guys every now and then because there's some things I want to talk to you about as well. So. Right, if you talk to the guys, or if one of the Tyrone or Jamal or Cody or anybody pops up today, I do want to get a hold of you guys about some things. With that being said, guys, I'm going to make this announcement right now. Big announcement about you guys from the show yesterday. I want to give you a big round of applause. I really do. Pat yourself on the back because yesterday's show, guys, there was 1,031 messages on the terrible board yesterday. I got to be honest with you guys. That was the biggest show as far as ever on the 2 Dum Yinzers as far as the terrible board goes. Just under a little under 2.5 hours. We did rock. You rocked out 1,031 messages on the terrible board. Kudos to you guys. Amazing. You guys do. Tortillas guys put in the work. No two ways about it, man. The number blew me away. And I was talking to Mike after the show, and I said there was a certain point when it was the messages were coming so much, it wasn't even allowed. It wasn't even allowing me to scroll up anymore. It was literally staying at the bottom, and it wasn't even letting me move up. That's how many messages were going on. But that's great. It was a good thing. Again, it all helps in algorithm type things. And but again, for you guys in the show, it's a big accomplishment. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Tortilla felt bad looking. No, bro, no feeling bad. It is what it is. And again, there was a lot to go over yesterday, and that's just how it played out. But again, 1,031 messages on the terrible board. Game ball definitely goes to you guys for yesterday. Not even a question. So that is the big news that I do have today. A lot of stuff to get into, guys. This is what our playoff picture looks like right now. Let's do the AFC and NFC just for shits and giggles. This is what it looks like in the AFC. Number one in the conference is the Denver Broncos, who got a tough defense, man. Offense isn't so much to worry about. That defense when you play Denver is what it is that you got to worry about. Number two in the conference is New England. They're paired up against number 7 Houston at the moment. If the playoffs started today, and they don't, the New England Patriots will be hosting the Houston Texans. Number 3 in the conference is Jacksonville. If this playoff started today, they would be hosting the Buffalo Bills. And we are number 4 in the conference, guys. And if the playoff started today, it didn't change from yesterday, we would be hosting the Chargers. So being as that it is, and we'll get back to the AFC in just one second because we're going to break it down and see what we truly think about how how realistic a playoff run can be against these particular teams, and about how inconsistency plays to our advantage, our disadvantage, and to our advantage. We'll get into that in just a moment. Good morning, Derpy. How are you doing?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Great, man. Always great seeing Derpy on the board. Everybody, it's Derpy. I just made a big announcement, Derpy, yesterday on the show. Okay, awesome. So Tyrone is here. I do want to say good afternoon, good morning to Tyrone. I do want to say this. I made a big announcement just a moment ago, Derpy. Yesterday on the show, a record-breaking 1,031 messages on the terrible board yesterday. 1,031.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the guys, the
gals. That's an achievement. That's a milestone right there.
Absolutely. We're very proud of that. And again, I can't thank the board enough. You guys are always awesome. And I try to tell you as much as I can because I truly believe it and I truly feel it. And I truly know that you guys are the bloodline of this show. And I wanted to make sure I got that information, you guys. 1,031. I can't get the number out of my head ever since Mike told me, but that's what it is, guys. Again, congratulations. Thank you. Whatever the proper response would be, 1 million of that to you. So thank you so much, everybody.
Joy.
Defense. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the NFC, guys. We talked about the AFC tree briefly, Derpy. I'm going to go over I'm going to put the seedings, the playoff brackets out real quick, and then we're going to talk about the true possibility that an inconsistent Steeler team could have against an inconsistent AFC come January. Let me talk about this NFC real quick, guys. The number 1 seed in the NFC is the LA Rams. They will have the bye off if the season started today. Also, the playoff started today. The Rams would have the bye. Number 2 is Green Bay. They would be hosting the number 7 Chicago. Now, you remember Chicago. Chicago was number 1 last week. That's how tight things are in the NFL. Chicago was number 1. Chicago is number 1. Now they're 7.
This year's so weird, Ryan.
And that's why I like it. This is the thing that's keeping me
optimistic.
Hanging on, not around, because I'm going to stay here. I'm here for the duration anyway during Steelers season. But it's one thing that kind of keeps you thinking, hey, you just never know, I guess, because this league has been consistently inconsistent all season long. Even the Philadelphia Eagles, they just dropped 3 games in a row. So, I mean, the Eagles are a team that they usually show, they usually are one of the tougher teams in the NFC. So, again, they dropped 3 in a row. That makes me, again, it might make you question just the way this league is heading. And, again, maybe it gives the Pittsburgh Steelers a better chance than maybe we think. Also in the NFC, guys, number 3 is Philadelphia. They would be hosting the San Francisco 49ers this week if the playoffs would start this weekend. And finally, number 4 is the Buccaneers over there, and they would be hosting the Seattle Seahawks. And I got to be honest, Seattle could win that division out west because I think they have the same exact record as the Rams. They got a killer defense. The Rams got a great offense. So in that division, I think anybody could do it. In the north, you have the Packers, you have the Bears.
Oh my.
Oh my. And so again, very, very, it's an interesting season, guys. Everybody is so tight knit at this point. Everybody, it's a bottleneck, and we're at that point of the season. And again, I have some information today that might make you feel a little bit more confident about this game. But let me catch up on the board here for a moment and see who popped in and who is here with us. Steeler Free, my man, Big John Stud, middle name Mud. Always great to see you, sir. He says, "What is the over under or minutes before the podcast shits the bed?" I have 24 minutes. I'm not sure what that means. Tortilla says YouTube should send a plague.
Plaque.
A plaque. Okay, that's a lot better than a plague. We've been getting the plague lately with all this technical issues. I know a plaque would be better than a plague. Steeler Freak says the board was hot even when Ryan went to Chernobyl podcast. Yeah, it's true, man. 1,031 messages, guys. Super pumped up about that. Crazy number.
Tortilla.
Yeah, send me a plaque, please. The plague, we're fine with that for now. Cody, what up, gang? Always great seeing Cody. He says, setting a frack, listening, my man. Always glad to have you aboard, sir. Yeah, I was gonna swing over to see you guys last night. Maybe I got to get some contact information, just guys, so we can kind of stay closer. Because every once in a while things pop up I'd like to talk to you about, and I just don't know how to get a hold of you. So we'll worry about that after the show. And figure that out. RB, he says, "See, Ryan, you kept proving my point. Rams fans think they can beat anyone any day of the week. Same with a few others. We're excited. Maybe, just maybe, the AFC sucks and could get three." That's where I'm going with that, RB. I think that I think that it's a good possibility, not a great possibility, but a good possibility, because we fit just in that category with everybody else as far as being inconsistent as well. So. That kind of evens the playing field in that scenario. But again, you're heading in the right direction as far as what I'm thinking. He follows it up by saying, because we can't win best versus best. Tortilla says we were on Discord doing mock draft. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Cool. Cody also says, yes, sir, I'm on Discord. We could talk. Perfect. All right, cool. Yeah, that's true. Matter of fact, I did contact you kind of recently on Discord about that beer can, Cody. So again, that's very true. I didn't even think of that. We'll get in touch. Cody says, yes, absolutely, you sure are. Guys, so let's talk about this. I think RB hits on a good point. I think that this season is inconsistent enough to possibly keep us interested into January. And when I say this, and it's hard because a lot of people, they would rather Derpy the team not do well down the stretch,
right,
because they're like, well, this team legitimately doesn't have a shot to win the Super Bowl. So it would be more beneficial for us to not do well, to have higher draft picks, yada, 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 and have it benefit us in that capacity. But,
most of the fan base thinks we're just going to go 9-8, which could be a possibility, but
that's why
we could make a run. We could make a run. You never know.
Isn't that why we root for the team and watch the team and tune in every week and stay interested? So, I mean, I listen, it's a Jekyll and Hyde season. Yes,
right.
Some weeks I'm high on the team. Other teams I'm low on the team. But you know what? Isn't this year the year to be like that?
Yep.
I mean, if we were bad all year, sure we'd be miserable as hell trying to figure out ways to just keep things interesting. So again, I just it might be just enough to keep people involved, keep people interested, keep people waiting, because the way that it breaks down with the Dolphins, the Lions, the Browns, and then the Ravens, very, very good chance, at least for the Steelers, to get into the playoffs. And again, with some of these teams, let's talk about that right now, Derpy. So within the past 2 years, last year when we played Denver, we did beat them early on in the season. It was low scoring. I think that would be exactly the kind of game that would be, because their offense ain't that great. If we would match up against Denver in the playoffs at any point, I think that this game is up in the air. We haven't had a chance to see them this year. But again, I don't think this is a team that comes out and dominates us. We would have to see it, but you got to remember, back in 2005, 20 years ago, the number 1 seed was the Denver Broncos, in the number 6 seed that had to win 4 games in a row to even get into the playoffs, had to go out to Denver and win that game. Eventually, they won 34-17 en route to the Super Bowl. So Denver, they're good.
Tomlin that year.
They're good, and even at 10-2, they're still not a team that I really put in that category as I mark it a loss. I just don't. Let's move on. Number 2, New England. This is the team that we already beat. Yes, it's hard to beat a good team twice in a year.
They're overrated.
They're overrated.
They're overrated as fudge.
But they're still a
They've
good
gotten
team.
better since then, though.
They certainly got better since then. So if we played them, I mean, obviously beating them before the season, you have a chance. You know that. But we would have to play pretty good football. So again, I don't think that this team is a team that you should be afraid of in the playoffs. And these are the top two. It's good. It gets easier as it goes down. Number 3 in our conference is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just took this over from Indianapolis because Indianapolis proved that they were fake. So it's a bunch of fake teams. Listen, the AFC, this is what makes me think that there might be a chance, Derby, because the AFC teams are either fake or they're too early. They're too young. It's still too early for them. They have to go through some hardships, as the Buffalo Bills have done to this point. They've always ran into a Mahomes, a Lamar, or Joe Burrow. So they're seasoned, they're battle tested, and these teams aren't. That's that's also a thing that could certainly help out. Number 4 is us, of course. Number 5, the Houston Texans. This team has a defense. This is a team that you gotta,
That's the one team I'm kind of nervous about. I mean,
you know why I'm nervous about that defense, Derby? Because you've seen what the Chargers defense was able to do to us when we played out there on Sunday night. Good defenses, don't really match up well with our offense because we kind of just sputter along. And, so teams with the really good Ds are the ones that concern me because you can't really get it running or passing started. And again, our offense, sometimes it takes a little while to get jump started. Number 6, Derpy, this is the team that scares me. This is the wolf in sheep's clothing, in my opinion. This team came from out of the playoffs. Now they're in the playoffs. And this team, in my opinion, they could run the table in the AFC, providing they don't look great. I acknowledge that. But who is more battle tested right now than Jared Allen and the Buffalo Bills as far as these teams that are involved in playoff spots right now?
Wait, they're number 6 right now?
They are. They were out last week. They're number 6 right now. And they would be heading to Jacksonville.
Interesting.
So again, this team, Buffalo, is battle tested. They've had to face Burrow and been knocked out. They had to face Mahomes and been knocked out. They had to run into Lamar in the playoffs. So again, if anybody is battle tested moving forward in the playoffs, Buffalo would be that team.
I think the pressure is going to get to Buffalo again.
See, I don't. I think the pressure is going to get to one of the early teams, one of these teams that are doing really good early, New England or Denver. Those are the teams. Again, Buffalo's battle tested. They've been there. They've done that. They've faced the best. This is the perfect opportunity for a team like Buffalo. I'm going to be honest. They're not playing great, but you know what? You got to play right at the best at the right time is what really matters. And finally, the number. I'm sorry. So the team that would play, the team that's left is the Chargers. They are the number 5 seed. They would be playing the Steelers at Pittsburgh, which again, we beat them last year. They beat us this year. I'm not afraid of the Chargers. And I think that we can certainly take advantage and maybe win that game at home. So out of those teams, Derpy, Denver, New England, Jacksonville, Houston, Buffalo, the Chargers, who scares you the most?
I'm going to be real. None of them. Oh, maybe the Texans.
All right. I mean, you just got to think what kind of team we are. How, what it's like for our defense to stop teams, what it's like for our offense against good defenses.
Actually, so again, I take that back. The Chargers probably.
I just think that it's inconsistent enough, Derpy, that possibly we could win all these games. My only concern is being consistent enough to do it for 4 games in a row. That's the big concern.
I think it's likely they can. It's just a matter of performing.
I think it's exactly what it was we said last week. It's mental. It's mental. 2 weeks ago, you look like shit. You can't do 2 things right in a row all game. Last week, you come out and do things you haven't done all season. So I think it's psychological, which ultimately I think, and I'm not starting a whole coaching thing, but it comes down to leaders, coaches, assistant coaches, anybody that can get in these guys' heads. Again, they're millionaires. You have to figure out a way. You got to figure out a way to get millionaires motivated every Sunday to put their bodies on the line in cold weather. I wouldn't imagine that's an easy thing to do. For guys like us, just regular average guys, it would be hard to talk you and, hey, Derp, let's go outside and, tackle each other in the cold. It's again, these guys are millionaires. They have cushy lifestyles. And, right. It comes down to leadership, figuring out how to get these guys prepared, how to get them ready. Because if they came out as they did against the Ravens, who's not a great team, I want to acknowledge that. People might say
there was a different energy going into that game, though. I could tell you that
the energy was different, and I think that played into it, and I think that's going to play into it moving forward. If they come out looking like they did 2 weeks ago, they're going to lose. If they come out playing like they did this past weekend against Baltimore. I'm sorry. I think that they have a chance to beat any of these teams.
I think they can go into Detroit and beat them.
Well, I mean, that's irrelevant. That's neither here nor there. Now we'll get into that next week. Whether they can, whether they can't. It's certainly the toughest game left on their schedule. And as I said yesterday, Derpy, we could wrap up the division even before we play Baltimore again with the win over Cleveland here in a couple weeks, and then this win against Miami. And if the Baltimore Ravens, they lose to Cincinnati this week, and also either or Green Bay or New England in the following 2 weeks, the Steelers could wrap it up before we even play the Ravens in the last week of the season, which is best case scenario for us. We could rest our players at that point, maybe see a little Will Howard action. I know you would like that.
I'd love it. I'd love to see Will Howard out there.
All right, so we got some interesting information going on, guys. This is going to be some cool scoop for the game. If you're whether you're heading into town, whether you're already into town, you're heading over to the North Shore, whatever the case may be for this Monday night, guys, we do have some interesting scoop. We're gonna have gold end zones.
Let's
we are
go.
Gonna have gold end zones, guys. They decided on it. The Pitt Panthers are done. We're going to be back to the gold end zones, so that is going on. Also, the Steelers are going to be wearing their color rush uniforms, Derpy. The black, not the Bumblebee jailhouse
Bumblebee ones.
Things that we just wore recently, or whatever those things were. The 1933s, Derpy. This
not
game,
those ones. The other ones, yeah.
These ones, Derpy, they're going to be wearing it's the color rush, yellow helmets, black shirts, black pants, I think.
I like those ones.
That is going down this weekend as well. This Monday night. Also, to get you a little bit more excited, the crew that we had 2 weeks ago, the referee crew, Land Clark's crew, they will be refereeing this game on Monday night as well, and they have issued the second fewest penalties this season, 129 penalties issued through the first 14 weeks of the year. The guy's name is Land Clark. His referee crew is going to be officiating our game, and they have the second fewest amount of penalties issued. So let the guys play. You know what's funny, Derby? I leave you these pauses. I leave you convenient pauses for you to jump in and say something. You wait till I start talking to reply instead. I leave the pause. I look at you. I stop. I do some things. Not a peep. Wait till I start talking. But what else do we got here? Here's another one, guys. You want to feel a little bit better about our chances on Monday night?
Hit me, Ryan.
The game time temperature is going to be anywhere between 18 and 21 degrees.
Let's go.
18 and 21 degrees. Now, let me give you another piece of information. The Dolphins, in the last 20 years, playing in football games 40 degrees or lower. Granted, they just did beat the Jets, and it was 41 degrees. But the Miami Dolphins over the last 20 years playing in 40 degrees or lower, their record is 15 and 42. They just don't play good up north in December. This is a South Miami team. Talking about Derby trying to motivate a bunch of millionaires to want to play. I mean, these guys are used to South Florida. It's still hot down there. It's rainy. It's cold. It's freezing here. As a matter of fact, the ground is frozen. And so again, and
just
let me make that a little
advantage.
Let me make that a little sweeter for you. In the last 22 games that Dolphins played in this situation, in this weather, 40 and below, the last 22 games, 3-19.
Let's go.
3-19. So again, you can't overlook this game. You can't. They're playing better football. This is a football team that's won a couple games in a row. They're finding themselves offensively. But again, we have some things going to our advantage. I think the fans will be back. I think they'll be excited. I think they'll be loud. It's Monday night. We have a big streak we're trying to extend on Monday night. And again, I after a big win against Baltimore, I don't see the fans turning on the team and the coach to the extent of what they did last time when we were home. But I could see it rearing its ugly head. Let's say that we're playing the Dolphins, okay, and we're down, and it's 17-13 in the third quarter, Miami, and we go for it on fourth and we don't make it or something like this. I can see the fans, getting crazy again. But ultimately, like I said, you got to get the guys ready upstairs. I think that's the big key for the Steeler team. It's getting these guys prepared up here, because when they come out with that energy, like last week
was perfect, dude. I don't know what got into them, bro. Like they performed defensively and offensively.
Yeah, they sure did. And again, And what did we say last week? It just depends what team shows up.
Right.
It's Jekyll and Hyde. And as I was starting to say before, and that's that's the way we have to cover it. When they're looking good, we're going to look at it from that way. When they're looking bad, we'll certainly and I think somebody said on the board, one day you were talking about this team, being toast, and one day you're talking, and it's just the way the season has flown. It's the ebb and flow of this season, and this is where we're at. And right now, we have a possibility, a chance, Derpy, to wrap up this division here in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Realistically, again,
crazy.
That Ravens team has to find a way to beat a couple first place teams, and they didn't look that great against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to put that into context, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. They might win this coming week, but that's
well. I before we get back on the board, what you're going to do here in just a second, I do want to say this. If the Baltimore Ravens don't start worrying about the Cincinnati Bengals instead of worrying about the past and crying about something that happened last weekend, they might not be ready for the Bengals.
Right.
If they're going to sit around and cry all week, I mean, come on, this is it's midweek. You're still crying about this? What do you want?
Crying about us cheating, which is ridiculous.
What do you want? Yeah, I'm sure the referees got in there and cheated for us. Have you seen any Steeler games over the past 30 years? Believe me, it doesn't go in our favor a lot of the times. This one time does. Relax. Get ready for Cincinnati. Believe me, because if you don't get ready for Cincinnati, come on. That team, that defense that the Ravens had out there this past weekend, add a little Jamar Chase, add a little Joe Burrow, and add yourself a little T. Higgins, guys. It's not going to be an easy game for Baltimore, as Cincinnati went into Baltimore 2 weeks ago and beat the Ravens 27-14 on their home field. So they better start worrying about the Bengals and stop worrying about things they can't change in the past. Did it be what it be? We're still Derpy. We're still trying to get by the 1998 Thanksgiving Day game when Jerome Bettis got, his call got screwed up.
Right.
So we're still crying about that. I get it, but what are you going to do? There's not a damn thing that you could do. You better start getting ready for Cincinnati. You better start getting ready because you're not too good.
They're
believe
asking
me.
For Harbaugh's head.
You know what? And as I said last week, I was explaining to some jerk off that was on here that was giving us shit about the Ravens. That team, it's identical to us. Listen, if there's anything that we do, the Ravens are doing it too. Believe me.
Right.
In the NFL, this is how it plays out. You have to compete in your division. You have to. You have to. You have to. If you don't compete in your division, you're done. And the fact of the matter is, Baltimore knows that. They knew that. They came into this league, built their team exactly like our organization. And as I said, you could pretty much track it down to the amount of championships won in this century, to the coaches and their long tenures, to these coaches, even after being somewhat successful, both sitting on the hot seat. So many similarities between these two football clubs. And again, it's not by accident. Baltimore knew that. They figured it out. And again, this is why they're in contention every year. And Cincinnati, again, they're not, and the Cleveland Browns aren't. They continue to do what it is they do. And the Bengals, they play by the beat of their own drum. It shows. And the Browns are the Browns. If they were smart, they would start steelering up. But they haven't figured it out yet. So, Derpy, anything else on that before we do get back to the board?
No.
All right, let's get back to the board. I do want to say good morning to everybody. We're going to certainly get every message today. I promise you yesterday. I do want to make the announcement one more time before we move on. 1,031 messages on the terrible board yesterday. Fantastic. Super excited, guys. Our most ever here on the Two Dum Yinzers. So one more time, thank you on that. Super excited. So let's get back to the board. I don't want to miss anybody today, Derpy. Let's do it.
For sure.
I'm going to go right here to Yinzer Joe. He says this. He goes, I'm excited for the offense with the addition of Thielen and Valdez-Scantling. It's opened up DK in the passing game. Hopefully, some offensive linemen can return from injury fast. That's a good comment, Joe, because how do you feel about this offensive line? How many times during this season, take away them early games?
Right.
You're young. You got a couple guys coming off of season-ending injuries.
Overall, they've performed decent.
Derby, how many times can you remember a game that we lost, or even one where we're walking away bitching about the offensive line? Oh, the holding. Oh, he can't block. Oh, does he know his assignments?
Definitely not this year.
Early on, maybe first couple games.
Yeah.
But after that, the offensive line has been one of the tightest units on the field.
Yep.
Think of every unit on the field. How many times have you been upset because of a dumb holding or an offsides? Yes, they happen because it's football. But I got to be honest with you, the most
We've been
solid
pretty consistent.
team on the field is the offensive line, in my opinion. You got two second-year guys right in the middle. You got the old man at left guard. You got the Broderick Jones carousel at left tackle now with all the injuries, and then certainly Troy Fatanu. Come on, this guy. What can you say about Troy Fatanu? This guy doesn't give up
He's
shit.
been awesome.
He does, and he doesn't make mistakes. So again, I like that. Certainly moving forward. And maybe you got a nice piece of your offensive line built for the next few years going ahead. That would be nice. Let's get back on the board. But I agree with you, Joe. I'm a little excited too. Cody says KDO Grady Shady. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be back. Yinzer Joe says, this is why I hate Tomlin. You aren't going to any game saying we're going to win. We can eat these guys. It's yeah. John says this, go for the Steelers to win a trophy. It would take consistent balance. Football for 4 straight games. Mike has a better chance of winning a Brad Pitt lookalike contest. But you're right. And by me saying I'm optimistic, isn't me saying that John's wrong.
Right.
I see the writing on the wall, but again, what am I going to do? What are you going to give up with a month left? This is my team, so I'm gonna,
first too.
So I'm going to hope that they do the best they can, and again, week by week, go into it hoping they can. But again, we're not stupid people. We see the writing on the wall, but that's 100% true. With the inconsistency in the AFC and in the NFL overall this year, if we could string together, and
I'm not counting us out at all.
What's that? Well, if we can string together decent, a consistent few games in a row in January, which we haven't been able to do all year, basically. Let's say we bring it together and hit our stride at the right point. Then you could play a couple consistent games against some inconsistent teams. I'm not ruling this team out. Listen, I don't know about the game in February. I have to see more in January before I can make that February call.
Right.
But I'm just saying this Derpy is one of the more this is one of the more opportunistic seasons for teams around the league in general. You don't have the KC just beating everybody.
You don't have the dynasty anymore.
You don't have Philadelphia beating everybody. You don't have. Philadelphia loses 3 straight games in a row. This is so inconsistent that again it makes us somewhat more eligible. It makes us somewhat more in the race. And you know what? For where we're at, what it is, we'll take it week by week and get ready for these Dolphins. This is a huge game. It really is a huge game. Back on the board, let's go to. I do want to say the Mike Tomlin and Brad Pitt lookalike contest would be freaking hilarious. I mean, when you see those Chinese guys, you see those Chinese guys showing up looking like Elvis out in Las Vegas. It would kind of be like that, That
might be game ball.
Cody says Mike Tomlin for life. RB says might get lucky and beat themselves. Vegas, what's up, Vegas? Always great seeing Vegas on the board. Big winner this week in the CBS Pick'ems. Also, guys, don't forget to get on and get your CBS Pick'ems picked as the Week 15 kicks off tomorrow. So I see about, almost a third of the people got in and got their picks. I'll get mine in probably today. But make sure you get in. Yeah.
We might have to do something for Monday.
What?
Like, not get together, but like through this. Maybe do a reaction on Monday.
Oh, I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll see how we might be dead by Monday. I'm not even. It's too far in advance for me to think, Derpy. Just relax. We're getting there.
Fair enough.
All right. Cody says this. I like what everyone else doesn't like. I disagree with everything else. Everything everyone agree on. It's why you know what I'm like that too. It's funny that you say that. I think it's just me in general. I could argue both points on a lot of things. I really can, and I do. And it's kind of annoying, in my opinion, to me at least. If I'm talking with my okay, listen. Here's a good example. I give Penn State shit all the time. I hate them. But if somebody's talking about Penn State from out of the state, that's maybe a Michigan fan, for some reason I play devil's advocate for Penn State. Because they're a PA team or whatever the reason, but I do that, and I do that with a lot of things. And it's almost like, what am I doing? Am I trying to piss people off? Another thing is like for politics, for example, I could argue my point to my I turned blue, and then I could have a conversation with somebody on the other side and then totally argue them. I don't know what that trait is, Cody, but I have it, and it's insane. I've always been that way. Everything just kind of leads you to play the devil's advocate, and I don't know. Again, I don't know what that is. Yeah. All right, let's move on. RB says, but you're missing the point. You're 1,000% accepting and embracing mediocrity. No changes will ever happen if this shit continues to be embraced. And I don't think we're accepting it. There's nothing that I could do. If they win, I'll be excited. If they don't, I'll be bummed. What beyond that? What can we do? We expressed ourselves at the game 2 weeks ago. We chanted to fire the coach. We booed the renegade. What'd they do? They made changes. They came out, played better. They made a move and brought in a wide receiver, which they wouldn't do for 2 seasons. So again, beyond that, what can we really do? I mean, accepting mediocrity, and of course I wanted to get better. Of course I would love to get a higher draft pick. And if that means losing, then it is what it is. But beyond that, I don't know if it's accepting. I don't know if I'm going to sit around for the next 4 months and be bummed that or these next 4 weeks and be bummed that we're winning. I totally get your point, and I understand what you're saying, and you're not wrong. But I just can't shut down and not enjoy football for the next month. However it plays out, it's going to play out. There's not much that we could do about it. Again, being proactive 2 weeks ago at home, I think was a step in the right direction. And I think you've seen changes because of it. You've seen us go downfield 4 times. You've seen us make plays of plus 20 yards. 4 for 4 we went on those plays, where prior to that, Aaron Rodgers was 7 for 29 for the entire season, the first 13 weeks. So again, I'm not missing the point. I just don't know what else to do as a fan. Should I just start shitting on everybody that's still excited about football? You can't do that. But I understand and I respect your opinion and I agree with it to an extent. But again, at a certain point, what else can you do? We're just fans. We're just along for the ride, cheering on our team, and Tortilla says, I'd rather try and win and than just trade up for the guy we want. No reason to lose on purpose when we have the resource. Again, Tortilla, you're right. You got 12 draft picks. You better damn well be ready to use your 12 draft picks. Listen, don't be no chintzy shit with your 6th-round picks. Well, we didn't want to give up our 3rd, 6th-round pick to get bullshit. You better go out and make a splash. And I think that they are. I think this April is going to be a splash for Pittsburgh. It's in Pittsburgh. We need a quarterback. We need a lot of things. We got 12 draft picks. In my opinion, there's no way that this draft, it's got to be a home run. It's got to be a home run. I think it's going to be a home run. We know that. They know that. Some of the struggles we've gone through recently, some of the, just the way that the fans are handling the team, as we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. I think that everybody knows that this needs to be a home run, and we're in the perfect position for it to be a home run, guys. You couldn't have it set up any better. So, Tortilla, I think you're right. They have to use their resources to get this shit done. And I think that's a big part of the future moving forward. This Pittsburgh draft, it's going to be talked about for a long time. Whether it's a great one or a poor one, or we missed or we hit, this draft in Pittsburgh will be talked about. Armac, my man, he says this. How do you think Baltimore does? I think that they're going to do terrible. I'm going to be honest with you. That was not a good football team. And by me saying that, I'm not saying that we're a great football team. I'm saying that I think the Baltimore Ravens have Cincinnati this week. They go on the road. Cincinnati just went to Baltimore last weekend and beat them 27-14. They had no answer for Jamar Chase the same way we had no answer for Jamar Chase. I don't like their chances in that game. I don't know the specific order. It's either Green Bay and New England or New England and Green Bay after that for them. I don't like their chances in either one of those games. In the final game, they come to Pittsburgh, where we just walked into their trap and beat them. So they have 4 games that they may lose each and every one of them. I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose a majority of those football games, 3 out of 4. And one other note to make on that particular the story, guys, is 3 of those 4 games are on the road. The only game they have home of those last 4 is the Green Bay game. So you got to go to Cincinnati, who just beat you at home by a couple touchdowns. You go over there. New England, this team is 10-2. Come on, they're top team in the division. You have to go there, to Foxborough. And then finally, we just beat you at your stadium. Now you have to come here and then throw in the Green Bay game. Come on, Green Bay's a team that ended up pulling away from us. We're similar to the Ravens. I don't like Baltimore's chances. I like our chances a lot better. The fact that Cincinnati dropped last week with that loss to Buffalo, perfect timing for that game, actually, because now they fall 3 games back. The Ravens 1 game back with the tiebreaker, so that's like two games back. I like our chances, guys. I truly think it's going to take an epic meltdown, for this team to not be playing in January. I truly do. Again, am I throwing them the Lombardi? By far, no. It's going to take a lot to get to that point, guys. It's going to take a lot of things to change, a lot of things to improve. But you know what? Teams do hit their stride at this point in the season. And if you do hit your stride at this point in the season, you generally play good into January. So we're due. Maybe let's stick with that and see how Monday goes. Again, in a great position. This game last week was massive. Was it a must-win? No, it wasn't a must-win. But boy, was it huge. Because now we could be in second place, a game behind with the tiebreaker out. And, so again, our chances are better than Baltimore's. I do believe this. And that game was massive. And we went over into their place and we won with a bunch of guys that's never seen the Steeler-Ravens rivalry. They got in there. They played their asses off. Probably the best game they played all year. Certainly DK Metcalf. But again, guys, so that's it. When I'm saying good things, it isn't because I think we're going to go and win the Super Bowl. I give the good when the good is due and the bad when the bad is due, and I try my best to do that. So let's move forward. Tortilla, the Texans scare me. You know what, Derpy? That's what Derpy said. I don't even know if Derpy's here. I see his box, but I don't know if he's here. Derpy did make that comment earlier. He said that the Texans scare him. You know what? And I agree. They beat good teams this year with that defense. And the Texans are scary in their own kind of way because, of course, C.J. Stroud could also do some damage to you on offense and a few of those other guys. So, again, not an easy game by any means. Down with Liberal Scum says, Baltimore, I do want to say welcome to the terrible board. Also, he says Baltimore isn't out yet. You know what? They should be, right? If anything, for crying too damn much. Jeez, oh man, could they cry anymore? And it wasn't obvious. The thing was, if it was an obvious screw up, once they break it down and they talk about the football move and the third step and that third foot never coming down and full possession, and you know what I mean? If it was even more controversial, I would understand. I just don't. I don't understand what they're pointing at, saying, "Look, this right here. This is where we're screwed." I just don't know. So again, it doesn't matter. I told the guy yesterday, it's not even anything that we care about in Pittsburgh. We won. That's all that matters. John says this, thinking any W's or L's within the new preseason period, which is the first 4 games, is dangerous. Yeah, you're right. I like the way you worded that. Is dangerous. The Pats aren't the same team, and you're right, and I agree. I agree, but it's all we have to go off of, isn't it? I mean, we could speculate and make things up, but if the fact of the matter is, this is what we got to go by, and we'd watch tape from then. We'd watch tape from the Patriots now. We'd look at what they do different. We would, So again, and I'm not saying any of these games are easy. I'm saying that they're more winnable than they have been in the past in the playoffs. Again, possibility of not facing Mahomes, possibility of not seeing Burrow, the possibility of even Lamar. Again, that's not a big selling point to me. But, chances that none of these guys are going to be the guys that you're going to be facing. It's going to be more like Bo Nix and guys like that. So, again, maybe, just maybe, it might be inconsistent enough this year for an inconsistent team like us to put together a couple consistent games in a row. Maybe. I don't know. We'll definitely keep tuned in on that. Mark Malone, we got to keep Miller, Skoranek, Thielen. Yeah. I got to tell you this, though. Ben Skoranek is leading in all-pro voting for special teams players, guys. Get on. Make sure you vote for these young men because, again, Chris Boswell is not even in the top 10 kickers. It's unbelievable. Do make sure you get online and vote for your favorite Steeler because somebody's getting screwed. I can tell you that. If Chris Boswell isn't even in the top 10, that means not enough of us are voting. Make sure to get on and vote, guys. Ginzer Joe says, this is hard to win in the NFL. Even to be a mediocre for some teams would be an accomplishment, which is probably a big reason Tomlin won't be leaving anytime soon unless it's his own choice. And you know what? They're going to talk. And here's my opinion on Tomlin. He made a comment yesterday, his presser. He says, it's nothing big. I've been on the hot seat for 19 years. I understand the cleverness of the comment. And here's what's going to go down. The end of this season and the draft are huge for Tomlin moving forward, because they're going to get together and they're going to talk at the end of the season. And again, they talk a year early, which would be 26 for their 27 contract, talk about extensions. So how this season ends out, it's going to resonate in what happens in the offseason. I do believe that. And what happens in the draft. I mean, come on, if they put it together this amazing draft, let's say this. Let's say they win 3 of these last 4 games. They go to the playoffs. They win a game in the playoffs, something that we haven't done in almost a decade. And then you have a monster draft. Now, I know some people are going to come back and they're going to say, well, you don't want Tomlin tainting your new players. I understand that whole argument. I hear it a lot. But I think that's probably ultimately going to play a part in this. I mean, as they sit down in the offseason, before, after, maybe between the end of the season and the draft, whenever it may be, and talk about this, I think that it's going to play a big part. I just do. So I guess, if you're hoping for the fall apart for the team to get better, I think that this is all going to play into it. We shit the bed the last 4 or 5 years in December. The last run, we shit the bed. If he doesn't shit the bed, if this team doesn't shit the bed in the 12th month of this year, and they go out and have a banger draft, I think, what do you think? You think that benefits Tomlin, or do you think that it goes the other way? Let me know on the board. Steeler Freak says this: the teams without the no playoff experience quarterbacks will be suspects until proven. I agree. And that's what I said. Without Mahomes, without Jackson, without Burrow in the playoffs, you have to battle-tested Josh Allen's chances. I don't want him to win, but I'm just looking around these teams in the AFC, teams as far as been there, done that, already been through the hardships, battle-tested. Buffalo's the only team. New England's young, Drake May. Denver's young, Bo Nix. Jacksonville's young, still Trevor Lawrence. I mean, come on, what has he done now? He's still young. C.J. Stroud in Houston, and Justin Herbert in L.A. These are all young, unexperienced playoff quarterbacks. So I would think, even if Buffalo isn't playing their greatest football this year, maybe they missed their window, some think, those are not tough, experienced, seasoned veteran quarterbacks in the playoffs, which may also play to our advantage as well. Let's move on the board here. Steeler Freak also says this: the Steelers haven't played a balanced 4 games in a row over a decade. Possibly yes, likely not. Yeah, I know. When was the last time you've been so excited about a complete game by the Steelers, and you walked away and you said, you know what, that was the most complete game they played, and boy, did we outcoach them. When was the last time we thought that? Armac says this: my concern is the defense still. Is it the consistency? Is it because one week they could come out and shut you down, and the next week they let up 250 yards on the ground? It's insane with the inconsistency of this team. I mean, when they're good, they're sticking. You know what? It comes down to matchups. The teams that we match up good with, we look good. The teams that we don't match up well with, we don't look good. And it's our burden to figure that out. We got to figure out how to get over that jump. Tortilla says, I mean, we did go 11-0. Like, we did go 11-0. We did go 11-0. But boy, was that one of the weirdest 11-0s you've ever seen. And then the receivers, every single receiver we had on the team forgot how to catch a football in week 12. But you're right, Tortilla. We certainly did go 11-0. You're right. Lindsay says, yeah, I'll be stuck in traffic Monday for 2 hours when I leave. Oh, shit. Affected by the Monday Night Football traffic. That sucks, man. Maybe call in sick, not call in sick, but leave sick early or something that day. Steeler Freak says being concerned about the D is valid after giving up 217 rushing yards and averaging giving up 182 yards per game. You're right, man. Here's some interesting scoop for you guys. You want to talk about the rushing yards given up? We got big news yesterday. I will get into the injuries from the press conference, guys, in just a moment. Derek Harmon has been cleared to head back to practice. And this is big for the Steelers. And you want to know how big Derek Harmon getting back to practice for the Steelers really is? When Derek Harmon is in the lineup, the Steelers give up 96 rushing yards per game. 96 rushing yards per game with Derek Harmon on the line, our rookie defensive tackle. When he's not in the game, you better sit down. I'm serious. I have to hold on to something. Guys, when Derek Harmon is not in the game this year, the Steelers are giving up 191.2 yards on the ground per game. Derek Harmon in, 96. Derek Harmon out, 191.2, almost 100 yards more without one particular player. So I think this is fantastic news to find out that Derek Harmon is coming back, that he's able to practice, and he's going to be coming back sooner than later, guys. Again, almost 100-yard difference. We give up 96 yards when he's in, 191 when he is not. Let's continue on the board. Mark Malone, he says the Juniors are just going to go in the cheap route. You know what? And they do. And like any business, if they continue to get away with it, they'll continue to. We have to continue to apply pressure as fans. We have to continue to apply. I'm not saying be an asshole. I'm not saying threaten guys. I'm not saying throw garbage in Tommy Maddox's backyard. But we have to be proactive as fans. As the Yankees fans are in New York and any other great sports city. We can't continue to be complacent when we're going through these bad times. You gotta stay proactive. You gotta get in there, let them know. Listen, if we're booing Renegade and calling for the coach's head, as I said, things changed in that last week, didn't they? Big Ben even comes out and says this. Where's my Ben comment? Ben, he says that's what you need. Big Ben says that's what you need. He says that outside noise can help the locker room come together. And I think that's what it did. It made the guys believe in each other more. It made them have each other's back. It made them say, you know what? We don't want to be embarrassed. Our locker room doesn't want to be embarrassed anymore. We don't want to be booed out of our home stadium. And they played better. Did they turn from day to, did it go from one extreme to the other? Are they, dominant? No, they're not. But what it is that they were able to accomplish after having that experience, I think is a good thing, guys. We have to stay proactive with this team because, again, it's our team. The players come and go. The coaches come and go. Even owners come and go. But if you're a Steeler fan for life and you bleed black and gold, baby, this is going to be your team till the day you die. Back on the board. RB says, in the 2025 NFL, you won't win games against good teams when your coach shuts it down when you get a 2-score lead. This isn't 1992 or 3-score. You know what? And that drives me nuts. Why do we slow down after? That makes me crazy. We were up 17-3 this past weekend, and it really felt like we kind of took our foot off the gas. I would like to see that change a little bit. Again, 2025 RB, you're right, 100%. The way this league is, you got to be ready to score. You got to be ready to score from minute 1 to minute 59. Because if you're not, that's just the way this league is playing. Whether it's naturally or whether it's because, like I said, Las Vegas is involved and the word sports entertainment has been being thrown around more and more recently. Whatever the case may be, you're right. You can't go into coast mode in this league anymore. You can't. Ask the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl, even against New England, that far back. You just can't. Cody says, I love the cheap route. I do too. I mean, but at the end of the day, I don't want the football team to like the cheap route. But again, I think it's human nature. You're putting asses in seats. This is working. Why spend more money? But again, if you are proactive and you let it be known that we're not satisfied with the way things are going, I think you start to see these little changes as you started to see, I think, from last week. Cody says, I love the cheap route. Cody also says Peyton dirt right now. Nice, man. Yinzer Joe says Steelers are 21-3 on Monday nights under Tomlin. It's going to be a good night. I hope you're right. And I think, what did I say yesterday? They're going for their 23rd or 24th straight home Monday night win. That's an amazing number. An amazing number. Come on. Steeler Freak says Dolphins last 4 games, total rushing yards, 769 rushing yards per game. 192 yards, highest in the NFL, yards per carry, 5.7. They will try to pound the right. And you know what? That's if that's what it's going to be, that's what it's going to be. It comes down to mindset with these guys. Again, you give up 250 yards against Buffalo, being totally dominated 2 weeks ago at home. Then you go on the road and figure out a way to beat Derrick Henry and stop Derrick Henry and hold him under 100 for the night or the afternoon. So, again, whatever it is, we have to figure out a way to weather the storm. No two ways about it. Tortilla says Yinzers better not boo Renegade if we actually show up to play. And they won't. I mean, you'll have your assholes. Nothing is 100%, but I think Steeler fan, say what you want about Yinzers. They're savvy about their football. And, again, if they come out and play good football and we're winning and they're not going to boo them. Certainly not the song. Maybe the coach, but not the song. Mark says Thunder will boo it. He says Vanilla Thunder will be up there booing. Cody says Baltimore ass. They are ass. And you know what? Again, that's why they're 6-7 and we're in first place, baby. Cody says, boo, Renegade, put on some Freebird. Well, I can do some Freebird. Does Freebird ever get to that point where it really rocks out? I just think that maybe that's it. But I do like Skinner, man. I like the recommendation. Corey, what's up, dude? My man, always great seeing Corey. Got a lot of work going on for his show. I always love seeing Corey on the board. He says, am I wrong for not being optimistic about Monday night, LOL, or the rest of the season? I've stayed positive all year for the most part. Here's the thing, Corey. I think with this team, the proof is in the pudding. Or if we're, to stay on the writings on the wall. They are what they are. There's nothing that this team is going to show us, I don't think, that we haven't seen them be this year. The only thing that I'm hopeful for is that they could get it right upstairs, maybe play off of some of this shit, so the fan reactions, and stick together as a team and play us against the world. And if you do that, then maybe you could get 53 millionaires on the same page on any given Sunday to win a football game. Again, not the easiest thing in the world to do, I wouldn't think. Cody says, call it the switch up. No, we call it turning it up, Cody's told Corey. With that being said, again, the rest of the league is inconsistent as well this year. This is the loophole that I'm finding. If we could somehow stay motivated enough to play the football, again, 1 week we look like we could be in the top 10. Next week we look like we can be in the bottom 10. And I do want to say, guys, we did bump up to number 14 overall in the league, the power poll this week. The power rankings down to 18 last week after losing that game to Buffalo, back up to 14 this week. So again, little steps in the right direction, guys. Let me pull up what the injury report did look like as of yesterday. I do know that the guys, they had Monday film, they had Tuesday and Wednesday off this week, and they'll be back at it Thursday through Saturday or Sunday with practice to get ready for Miami on Monday, guys. But this is what our injury report does look like. I thought I had it here. I don't have it here, as a matter of fact. I'll get to it in just a second, but I did pass something else up. Oh, here it is. Here it is, guys. This is the injury report via Mike Tomlin as of yesterday. Calvin Austin with his knee is out. Andrews Pete, Darnell Washington, and Malik Harrison all in concussion protocol, which means they could pretty much they'll probably be ready by Monday night. And then finally, Keanu Benton, James Pierre, Y.A. Black, and Ben Skoranek, they could be limited to start the week in practice. I'm thinking that they're going to be fine come the end of the week. And then also Kyle Duggar, he could return this week as well. So being as close to healthy as we've been in a few weeks is a good thing against a team that doesn't play well in December in the North. And again, Monday night has kind of been our thing. Let me pound this home a little bit for you. Maybe you're not buying the cold thing here. This is let's see. So in the past, okay, Tua has never won a game below 40 degrees. Now, this had actually come out right before last week's game against the Jets because they did go to New York and win that game last week. But this is prior to that game, Tua in 40 below weather, he has been 0-6 in such games during his career. Let's see, starting in 2021, 35 degrees, lost to Buffalo. In 2022, 36 degrees in Tennessee. Not even that far north. They lose that game. Back to Buffalo in 2022 when it was 30 degrees. They lose that game. That ever so cold, memorable game in Kansas City in 2024, -4. They lost that game at Green Bay in 2024. They lost that game in 27 degrees. And again, Tua is bringing his Miami Dolphins from the South Florida area to Pittsburgh, where it's going to be projected 18 degrees on Monday night. So again, he don't play well up here. His team doesn't play well up here, certainly when it's cold. So, okay, yeah, here it is. 41 degrees. 41 degrees. They beat the Jets. It was 41. So still 40 and below. He still hasn't won yet in this league in 40 below. That says something. It says something. And I got to be honest with you again. You're trying to get our millionaires ready for a game. Imagine trying to get millionaires from the South Florida, to be ready to play in this weather. Again, I think that plays to our advantage as well. Right here. Cody says Texas Tech going to smoke everyone. Tortilla says Super Hayward is going to score 2 touchdowns on Monday. Steeler freak John. John says the Ravens think Jackson will win them a trophy. He never will. He's another player that they're going to waste all these years on. You watch. That guy listen, his MVP window is shut. His legs aren't what they used to be. Yeah, he could scramble, but you see when he took off running, some of them plays the other day, that used to be 40 yards. He gained 11. You know, he's getting older. He's rich. Again, getting somebody of that status motivated, it's different. But you're 100% right. He never will. Every year they will be let on, only to be disappointed. I agree. I think they missed their window of opportunity, Baltimore, with Lamar. I really do. You remember a few years back, even 3 years ago, when they were just running that crazy offense and they had guys crossing in front of Lamar, going behind Lamar. He's handing the ball off. He's faking over. That's when they were scary. They missed. Cody says Ohio State only plays easy. That's what I have been saying for years. They have a really good system of figuring out their schedule. Believe me. Joe says Dolphins are also hot because they played some suspect opponents. Commanders, Jets, Commanders without Jaden Daniels, the Jets 2 times, and the Falcons and Saints, which are 2 of the worst teams in the league. So you're 100% right. You're 100% right. So that's how the Dolphins have been getting hot lately. I agree. Mark Malone says Bostrus has been pretty consistently bad. You know what? He's even improved though, Mark. Do you think? I mean, how many times has he been letting the quarterback get killed from the backside? I don't see many. How many dumb penalties like we've seen in the past? I don't see many. And you know what? He doesn't have that confused look in his face, which I think is a step in the right direction. So again, is he our left tackle for the future? I don't know, but I think we can agree on the offensive line has probably improved, just in a collective sense. Max says I'm high on his team right now as much as I was after we won in Ireland. That was a big win against Minnesota. Armax says this. Cody, tell that to Tyrone. Tortilla 10-7, baby. Very possible. It's very possible this team finishes 10-7 if you look at what we have left. Tyrone, my man, gang. Always great seeing Tyrone, brother. How you doing, sir? Let's go to Aaron Derrick. I do want to say welcome to the show, Aaron Derrick. Welcome to the terrible board. He says if they lose to Miami, there will definitely be boos. If they absolutely listen, if this game turns to shit, as Aaron is saying, it can get ugly. I'm not saying that that's not a possibility. Let's say we come out confident and think we're going to win this game. We have all these things going to our advantage, and we're down 17-0 after the first quarter. I think you might see the boo birds. So again, they got to do their job as well. You know, everybody's got to work together. Steeler Freak says, I focus on what needs to improve to win a trophy. The offensive line must allow for more than 35 rushing yards. And you know what? I want to make one update yesterday. I kept saying, and I agree, I still think this mostly. I gave the running backs a very low grade yesterday, almost an incomplete, because there just wasn't a lot there. I think it was about 30 yards between our 2 running backs. But I do want to say Jaylen Warren's 38-yard touchdown pass catch where he ran it was very impressive. And I think that takes the running backs up a little bit as far as their grade. It didn't even dawn on me. I forgot about that play, but that touchdown was pretty awesome. So that takes the running backs up a little bit. I wanted to throw that back out there. Again, I didn't want to seem like the running backs did nothing because, again, 38-yard touchdown was nice. He goes on to say the Ravens have no pass rush, which allowed Rodgers to have his best. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you feel that the offensive line is improving, John? And how many players on this 5? Let's call it 4, because, of course, Ciamalo is not going to be around forever. How many of these 5 are going to be our offensive linemen for the next 5 years? 5 years from now, how many of those 4 guys are still going to be Pittsburgh Steelers starting offensive linemen? Aaron Derrick says, I'm sorry, Tyrone, my bad. Oh, you're good, brother. Got to do what you got to do, man. No complaints. Aaron Derrick says 8-9. Hell yeah. Somber. Corey says if we win, it'll be because of Jonnu scores 2 touchdowns. Again, this is a revenge game. You have Jalen Ramsey, you have Jonnu Smith, you have Minkah Fitzpatrick. There's a lot of things going into this game, guys. A good debate brings people together. Absolutely, man. Lindsay says sometimes. Bingo says it's like the military branches ripping on each other, but not being any branch and try to run your mouth. Exactly. That's kind of how I just am as a person, Bingo. That's exactly how I am. Fearless Steel, what's up, brother? Always great seeing the Phil man on the board. He says, what's up, Watt fans? Teflon Dawn sucks. Always good seeing you. Tyrone says, Ryan, heard you wanted to get in touch with you. Yes. Yeah. You know what? I was talking to Cody briefly on the board, and he said that we can connect through Discord. So I'm going to get a hold of you guys. I got some things I like to talk about with you. LOL. Still Bingo says, Tortilla says, yeah, bad debate can lead to a war. Yeah, it's true. Corey says, Tortilla, I agree. You don't debate to change someone's mind. You debate. You have people see both sides. Can't do that when you're yelling. You know what, Corey? That's one of the smartest things I've heard anybody say in a long time. It's just come to the point where, it's my opinion or nothing. And I'm not going to hear what anybody else has to say. And when you think about it, how dumb is that? It's a pretty, I don't know. You're right. You're absolutely right. You got to listen. Otherwise, it's arguing and fighting, and that's not a debate. Tortilla says, I'm sorry, John. John says this. Miami is still in the playoff hunt, and they have the top rushing attack in the past 4 games. They average 184 yards, while the Steelers gave up 182 yards at the same time. I agree. And you know what? I think that their opponents play a lot to do with that. They played the Saints, the Falcons, the Jets a couple times. So, I think naturally, but listen, don't buy. Listen, if you're not buying into the Steelers hype, I certainly wouldn't buy into Miami hype. Well, the Steelers didn't beat anybody. They beat the Ravens are a division rival, which is always a tough game. The Dolphins beat the Saints. So again, I wouldn't get excited about one and not about the other for sure. Tortilla says 1,000%. Corey Bill says this: Steelers need a new head coach and coach with balls. Tony Montana balls. Steeler Freak says I might complain because I want them to. Dude, bro, I understand you. Believe me, John. I really do. I really do. You and I see eye to eye on a lot of things, but sometimes it's a Jekyll and Hyde season, and I have to cover it as such. Otherwise, it goes one way and it kind of gets stale. So. I might complain about complain because I want them to win a trophy. The Patriots are closer to 7, and I'm not digging that at all. Me neither, man. Me neither. Miss Pittsburgh, she says this. I do want to say welcome to the board. Miss Pittsburgh, always great seeing her. She says, good afternoon, everyone. Here we go. That's right, baby. Here we go. Here we go. 5 days away till the Monday Night Football game, the Week 15 matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins here at home. The Steelers are a 3.5-point favorite heading into this game. And again, the Dolphins, they struggle, I think, is being a good, would be being nice to describe the way that the Miami Dolphins play in December up north. So again, I like our chances. I do like our chances, guys. Steeler Freak says I am not optimistic that they can find and develop a rookie quarterback with the current coaching staff. That written, I will not give up on them. I just know now they are 3 years out minimum. Somber, our stride kind of looks like we have cerebral palsy. Yeah, kind of does, doesn't it? Steeler Freak, the Ravens are an average team at best. We watched two equal teams play, and the outcome could have gone either way. Absolutely. Tortilla. Isaiah likely dropped it. Did he catch that ball? Not bloody likely he didn't. Baltimore is Izzy. But was Baltimore Izzy, Cody? Is that what was going on, man? Izzy Moore, Tortilla says. Phil says this, catching up with the terrible board. Yeah, it looks like a 7-10, 8-9 season. Tyrone says, I ain't here if you said anything about getting a contract with us for something. Or getting contact. Yeah. I'll get a hold of you guys. I'll get a hold of Cody on Discord. Just a few things. Again, from time to time, I like to just talk to these guys and kind of throw ideas back and forth at you. So I'll be getting I'll be getting in touch with you. Steeler Freak said there's a difference between intellectual arguments, debates, and personal attacks. Many can't or don't know the difference. Tortilla, he said he tried to see if y'all were live and we were on Discord. Might hop on tonight if you want to go live. Tyrone, Feel the Steel, no, we're going to see the same bullshit until 2027, and the Roonies are retards if they sign Teflon Don again. Follows that up by saying that the Vandy quarterback looks like he can lead a team. I'm not sure on the time yet, Tyrone, but I will be shooting something over. So kind of keep your ear open or keep in touch with Cody or whatnot. And like I said, I like to just get your information, all you guys. That way we could all kind of keep in touch. Mark Malone says, I think we can jizz on any of those teams. Aaron Derrick says Pittsburgh should have beaten Baltimore by 3 touchdowns. Pittsburgh would, but I'm not fooled. A better team would have come back and beat us for sure. Hey, you're right. Don't take your foot off that pedal. Why? You're up 17-3. Listen, the Ravens wouldn't hesitate to embarrass the shit out of us. They would love it. John Harbaugh and come on. Forget about it. You gotta embarrass these guys. Steeler Freak says, Phil, do you trust the Tomlin staff to take on a rookie quarterback? Steeler says this 100-yard difference. That's huge. Derek Harmon in the lineup again, only giving up 96 yards per game on the ground. Derek Harmon not in the lineup, 191.2 yards per game. Harmon strong. Tortilla says the Harmon hammer. Feel the Steel says at Aaron Derrick. And Smith got the ball back to finish the game with 2 minutes and 25 seconds left and couldn't get a first down to set up a victory formation and put the defense back out there to close it out. Smith sucks. Cord Tommy, what's up, brother? Always great seeing you, my man. Nice having you on the terrible board. He says, that's crazy, Harmon. Absolutely, dude. As a rookie, you know what I mean? You would think, maybe you're big, you're veteran, the guy that makes the second most amount of money. Maybe if he was in there and he wasn't, you would see the difference. No, it's not the case. Which Cam, don't get me wrong. I go on about Cam sometimes about not bringing it. He's been bringing it the past couple weeks. I give it to Cam. Aaron Derrick says, okay, him and Phil. Let's see. Just Learning. What's up, brother? He says 575 Teos, New Mexico, 69 elevation. Steeler Freak says Harmon is vital to beating Miami. They will try running it all night. Tua can't handle throwing in the cold. Ball control takes the home team fans out of the game. TJ Watt for life is what Tyrone is saying. Cody says trade TJ Watt. Just Learning says we better win so I can have a relaxing evening. I wouldn't count on it. Well, I mean the winning, I think we can win, but having a relaxing evening, I wouldn't count on that. I'm sure it's not going to be easy. It never is. Steeler Freak, the Steelers gave up 217 yards against the Ravens. I know. Only less than 100 to Derek Henry, though. He had 97. I didn't look at the breakdown as closely as I could have, I guess. Cord Tommy says, yes, I hate the fucking conversation. I hate that fucking the conservative mode shit from Tomlin. Aaron Jade, what's up, brother? Always great seeing Aaron Jade on the terrible board. He says, here we go, Steelers. That's right, baby. Aaron Derrick says it could always be worse. We could always be Jets fans. And you know what about them Jets fans? They're always so damn optimistic every year. I don't get it. I don't get it. They're always so happy for their Jets. Cody says Tua finna crip walk. Lindsay, all those concussions Tua can't even think in the cold. Cody says West Side. Phil says that. Aaron Derrick, he says, for sure, I'm seeing Steeler fans are now delusional, still believing in Teflon Don. I don't think that I don't think that's true. I don't know if everyone listen. One game against the Baltimore Ravens didn't change everybody's opinion back to loving Mike Tomlin. It just didn't happen. They could, you could put your claws away for a week, but ultimately, I think it's still. I listen. The only thing that's going to fix this is if Tomlin fixes it. If he fixes this, what's been broken for the last decade, then it can be fixed. Anything short of that, I don't think that the I don't think that it swings back in his favor. I just don't. If he can fix this, win these games, get into the playoffs, win in the playoffs, make a nice run, AFC Championship game, and come on, God forbid you could get to the Super Bowl. I think maybe people will start taking it easy on him. I just think this last decade has been rough, man. There's just no stride moving forward. It's kind of been this stale quicksand. Again, he has to fix this, and I don't think that's unfair to expect of him, right? Tua finna get crushed is what Tyrone is saying. Tyrone also says Cody Hush. This first time I've seen Texas Tech in the playoffs. Also, Aaron says this. Aaron Derrick says that like Arizona with the Kyler Murray, he's never going to win them anything either. They wasted 7 years, and you don't know. Another thing also, Aaron, you don't know what teams' objectives are. You don't know what their goals are. In Arizona, it might just be putting asses in seats. Maybe, like the Pirates. We want our team to get better, but we know we're not going to go to the World Series. So, what's just where you're at as a team. If we could keep Paul Skeens or whoever we get, I don't think Arizona is particularly building for a Super Bowl. Yeah, they want to be better, but ultimately every week you have to figure out a way to put asses in seats. And you know what? He's an entertaining quarterback and he can get some things done. And again, it's hard to say that they play for the same goals that some of the other teams play for, certainly at this point. Maybe 15 years ago when we played them in the Super Bowl was different, but it's got to be different for the teams that are usually not that good, like Arizona and teams like that. Aaron also says, I remember when Lamar got drafted, he told everybody that Baltimore was going to get him to get a Super Bowl out of him. Tyrone says, yeah, we definitely got to beat Miami. Cody says, Tyrone, get used to it. We putting oil money on our team. Also, Cody says this, Miami 14, Ohio State 10. Feel the Steel. He says, that Steeler freak just saw your question. Teflon Don in that locker room until 2027. Who's going to be quarterback for 2026, 2027, or until he hangs it up, which I hope is when the season ends. Somber, my man, what's going on, Somber? Always great seeing you, dude. He says, hopefully only 2 of them. Yinzer Joe says, Steelers couldn't do a lot of running because the Ravens were in a single high to stop the run, which meant DK had to perform. Tyrone says that's if Miami even wins. LOL. Mark Malone says Minka has the Tomlin taint stink off of him. Jalen Ramsey plays against his old team. That's what I'm saying. This game has a lot of talking points, a lot of storylines. If you think about it, 3 big players. The big change. I mean, now we have Jay Ramsey playing safety. Our safety was Minka. Now he's back there. And again, maybe Jonnu will have that game, the one that we've been waiting for through 13, 14 games so far. Who knows? It's hard to tell with Jonnu at this point. Tortilla says DK's running Minka over. DK finna go stupid again, Tyrone says. Also, Jeremy Olson, I do want to say welcome to the terrible board, Jeremy Olson. He says this is the year we win a playoff game just because nobody thinks we will. You know what? That's a good enough reason for me. If that gets us into the second round in January, man, I'm down. A win is a win, and this is what again most of the Steeler fans will be happy with that. Of course, a lot of Steeler fans won't be satisfied with just one win. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, we got one win after 10 years, but it's a step in the right direction. You got to get that win before you can do anything else. Armac says this: Diego doesn't compare. Diego does not compare to the GOAT, John Mateer. Steeler Freak says 2.67 7 seconds is Rodgers' release time. His fast throwing helps that offensive line. Usually run blocking is easier than pass blocking. The Steelers' run game is ass this season and has been for years. Armac says Rodgers was shifty against – absolutely, man. Rogers was shifty. Found his way to the end zone, man. You got to like that. Arthur Morg, B9Q, I do want to say welcome to the Terrible Board. Great having you. He says this Steeler team is like the Pepsi commercial with Emmitt Smith, old and washed. Even if they win the division, they won't win in the playoffs. Jeremy Olson follows it up by saying we will need to make Darnell Washington our running back. Our running game would be unstoppable. And that's been my argument. Of course, he does have the concussion this week, which is unfortunate, but I would certainly get him a lot more involved. You can't take him down with one guy. One guy. Here's the thing: even if you are a good tackler, his legs are just so massive. You have to wrap your arms around his legs to get him to fall. You're not getting him high. You're not getting him mid. So you have to figure out a way to get your arms around a big dude's legs like that while he's moving in motion. He's something to be reckoned with. He really is. If they don't have more involved in this offense on these last four and then in the next season, I'll be really pissed because, again, how can you have a guy that nobody could tackle, but you won't let him play and you won't get him the ball? Come on. Mark Malone, Hayward has played the most snaps of any interior defensive lineman in the NFL this year. Oh, wow. Okay. I give him that. He doesn't practice, so maybe that's where he gets all of his energy. He has the first 2 days of the week off from practice, and then he takes the next 2 off. Steeler Freak says Rodgers prepares. He knows the Ravens have no pass rush. He came out comfortable slinging and ran better than I thought possible. His best game in 4 years. Tortilla, I heard Darnell Washington visited a children's hospital today to pick up Calvin Host. Calvin had a nice catch. Calvin had a nice catch in that game. Phil says this at Jeremy Olson. Got to be careful with number 80. There are players out there who know how to tackle and chop down. You're right. That's a good point, too. A lot of guys you're seeing him run over, but there is going to be somebody that F's his legs up, man. They're going to get them knees, and that's the problem when you have somebody that big. That's a lot of weight being carried around on those 2 knees. Corey says, so here comes some stats. We're 6-2 in the conference. The Ravens are 4-5. They most recently beat Miami. They swept Cleveland. They're 2-2 in the North, and we're 3-1. And that's what I said. We have the tiebreakers. When it comes down to it, Baltimore has to beat us in extra time. We have the head-to-head now. We have the division. And we have the game. This is why I like our chances, certainly against Baltimore moving forward and getting that spot. Corey says we need to sweep Cleveland, beat Miami. We have to win at least 3 games, and Baltimore has to lose at least 1. Easiest way is to win out, but realistically, I don't see us beating Detroit. And we could wrap up the AFC North before we play Baltimore. We got to win against Miami. We got to beat Cleveland. And then Baltimore, they have to lose to Cincy and Green Bay or New England. If that happens, we'll be in the playoffs, wrapped up the AFC North before we even play Baltimore again. Christophus, what's up, man? I was thinking about you. Every time Christophus doesn't show for a couple of days, I'm thinking, damn, where's that Christophus been? Always great to see Christophus on the board. Christophus says Tomlin needs to get out of the way and let Aaron run the offense. The 0 points in the fourth quarter stinks of his fingerprints. Also, Christophus says he always puts too much stress on our defense. Great to see you back, Christophus. Hope all is going well for you, sir. Yinzer Joe says, I heard Minka wasn't playing a lot of safety. He's been playing slot and nickel. I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I haven't watched a lot of Dolphins. I haven't paid even much attention to them. I went and I looked and seen who they played recently, and I think somebody put it up on the board. The Saints, the Falcons, the Jets 2 times. Yes, they are having moderate successes of late, but what does that equate out to when you look at those teams that they played? Jeremy says, I think we're gonna make it just fine. The Lions can be beat if our team finds the groove and goes in there. Does that change your mind at all for January? Let's say we find a way. We figure out a way to beat Detroit in Detroit. Does that again? It's not going to change. It's not going to change the world. It's not going to turn everything over 180 degrees. But do you feel a little bit better about January if we find a way to beat Detroit next week? Tyrone, Yinzer Joe, Steeler Freaks is a playoff win with a team that will be 50% different next year isn't a momentum to me. And you figure we're 50% different than we were last year. The turnover on this team, we turned over 11 out of 22 starters from last year. This is an observation. Also, this Phil still says it did happen. 80 got chopped down with the good. He did, and unfortunately, he fell over like a tree and landed on his head. Just a straightforward, like a big lumbering tree falling. Lindsay says if Shador beats us, I might quit the Steelers. Shador is guy. You know what? We do get Shador, guys. He's the guy up there. They gave him the nod. So in week 18, or no, I'm sorry, week 17. We will be facing Shador Sanders, so that should be interesting. Steeler Freak says, I believe Mike Tomlin would prefer a quarterback like Murray than taking on a rookie, good enough to provide false hope and not risky gambling on a rookie. Tyrone says, I'm going to that game. Which game is that, man? Dude, which game are you going to? Somber says, Shamar Stewart likely to return against the Ratbirds. And Tortilla says this, Mike Tomlin is the GOAT against rookie quarterbacks. Let's get into a few things here, guys. Again, don't forget, be sure to get on and vote for your favorite Steelers for the Pro Bowl. It's a crime, an absolute 100% crime that Chris Boswell is not in your top 10. Listen, even if you don't like the guy, how is he not going to be in your top 10? This is what the top 10 looks like as far as kickers in the league, guys. So just bear with me. Number 1, Brandon Aubrey from the Dallas Cowboys, as far as votes got for the Pro Bowl. Number 2, Cameron Dicker from the Chargers. Number 3, Jason Myers from the Seahawks. 4, Kambari Fairbairn from the Texans. 5, Cam Little from the Jaguars. Number 6, Evan McPherson from the Bengals. Number 8, Eddie Pinheiro from the 49ers. The next one, Andy Bordalis from New England. Number 9, Harrison Buckner from the Chiefs. And number 10, Tyler Loop, the Baltimore Ravens kicker. Guys, get on and vote for Boswell, and everybody else for that matter. But to me, all these guys that I just named is better than Chris Boswell. That's how the voting is going. Get the fuck out of here. Guys, get on. Get your Steelers voted in the Pro Bowl game because, again, let's do our job as well. We want the team to do their job. Let's do our job as fans as well, guys. Right here. Armax says, okay, we do. Okay, Armax says this. I knew we would play Shador. I did too. Come on. They were playing that Shador Sanders game up there. And again, I get it. They wanted to humble the guy a little bit, but ultimately you knew he was going to be their guy. Tortilla, Mike Tomlin is good at beating rookie quarterbacks. He even beats his own rookie quarterbacks. Tyrone Browns, remember we was thinking of making a sign. Oh, okay, you're going to the Browns. That's yes, I do remember. What sign is Tyrone going to make for the Browns game? Phil Steele says Teflon Don sucks. Cody says Mike Tomlin for life. Tortilla, who does life coach for? Armax says Tomlin needs to use Boswell more and stuff. I agree. He has this recent set of balls that he grew. Where fourth down, he became a coach that thinks we're a team that's going to be good on fourth down. And a lot of times, if you're not good at a lot of things, fourth down isn't going to be one of the things that you are good at. I don't know where he grew these balls all of a sudden, but he has fourth down balls that he hasn't had. And I just, again, take the points. A lot of times taking the points is the smarter approach. But again, we don't want him to be as conservative, but on the other hand, just be smarter. That's all. It's situational. It's all situational. That's all football is. Cody says, my favorite player is Mason Rudolph. I got a favorite player. My favorite player all of a sudden is James Pierre. If you're going to talk about somebody that's played over their ability this year, Watt not playing up to his ability, I think some people would say maybe Cam, maybe the wide receiver, maybe DK Metcalf isn't playing up to his ability. Aaron Rodgers isn't having his best year ever. But if you're going to pick a guy from this team that really played above their means, I think James Pierre is that guy this year. He's right now, he's my Steeler of the year. He's my Steeler. He's my player of the year, my MVP on this team as of right now, just because of how he's been able to go out and excel and do things that you're not expecting James Pierre to do. He was your bottom end cornerback at the beginning of all this, and he's the one making some of the bigger plays lately. Certainly, interception against his cousin, Lamar Jackson, just this past weekend. Christopher says Juan Valdez Scantling and Thielen will see a lot more targets going forward. Our offense is about to come alive. And you know what? That's a good – I like that because I think that getting a pair of veteran hands in there was a good idea. But I just read this morning. Roman Wilson is listed ahead of Adam Thielen on the updated Week 15 depth chart. They're confusing me so bad with this wide receiver room. You don't play the guy for 15 weeks. Then all of a sudden you get a guy who's a veteran who runs beautiful routes. You hit him early in Thielen, and then this week you're talking about putting the guy who they weren't playing ahead of him. And this is after 2 seasons of not even picking up a wide receiver too. So again, there's a lot of questionable things. No two ways about it. It's a lot of questions. Mark Malone got to get Miller, Thielen, Skoranek lined up in trips. And I do want to say Skoranek is leading the All-Pro voting in special teams. Ben Skoranek, guys. So get on, help your guys get on, get that recognition, some Pro Bowl recognition this year. Cody says, hey, Ryan, how do you pronounce your last name? Me and Somber and Lindsay were butcher. Garazunas. It's kind of like it looks in a sense, kind of. Also, Cody says, this Tyrone going to wear his Browns. Come on. Armax says, McPherson. Steeler Freak says, field goal kicker. Young Ho Koo. I love that name, right? Young Ho Koo. How can you not love a person named Young Ho? I'm just saying, what a badass name. He's leading in the Asian vote, is what Steeler Freak says. Bingo says, but when he decides to go all four downs and still passes on 3rd and 2, knowing damn well he's still going to go on 4th and stuff. I know. Steeler Freak says Pierre is really a success story. I'm loving some Pierre, man. I mean, people are ready just like I said, he was a bottom end corner. He was indifferent. You could go, you could stay, whatever. But what he's been able to do this year has been nice. And you know what, Christopher? This comment right here, I actually have it in my notes. It's right here. It's circled. Pierre and Eccles. Who would have thunk coming into this year with this 3-headed monster at cornerback, Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, and Joey Porter Jr., we would be singing the praises of Brandon Eccles and James Pierre. Max is shaking my head, Thielen over Wilson. Absolutely, you have to, especially because they haven't even played Wilson basically all this year. Now all of a sudden you're going to play games. It's again, they have to stop doing this. And you know, sometimes I think Tomlin and company they try to outsmart other teams with information, and they don't give you the information, and they won't tell you who's starting, and they won't. Bro, just focus on winning football games. Again, we're not too cute. We're not cute enough to do shit like this. You just gotta go out, do the fundamentals right, and play football. Let's stop tricking these guys. I get it, but come on, it's not working. That's all I'm saying. Right here, Lindsay says what? Probably about the Roman Wilson scoop. Also, Armax says it's aggravating. Lindsay says if they don't use Thielen, it's crazy. I agree. I think we snuck one in with Thielen. I think he's still good enough. Again, with his route running, the guy's been a Pro Bowler in Minnesota. He's always been a tough receiver. So, again, if they fumble this, I mean, will you be surprised? Cody says my favorite Pittsburgh Steeler is Darius Slay. And I love the reason why he didn't go to Buffalo because it's too cold. He literally came out and said that, guys. He's like, it's too cold. I don't think so. Steeler Freak says, I agree. Eccles too. Yeah, dude. I got to love what Eccles is doing. Tyrone says, I agree with Thielen, but Ryan Wilson should be over. Absolutely. Miller shouldn't even be on his team. Miller should not even be on his team. The fact that they even use his name to try to justify our wide receiver room through the season is crazy to me. He's done nothing, less than nothing. And then while doing nothing, he breaks his finger and does even less. He's a body. That's about it. Somber says I was close. Tyrone says Cody got his Miami gear on. Cody got his Miami gear. Tyrone got his Browns gear. Aaron Gainwell certainly is a big part of it. It was Gainwell. Gainwell's been consistent. I don't think he's had a killer season. For what we are, he played better than most players consistently. I don't know if I would. He does everything well. He's able to catch the ball in the backfield. He's able to run, and I love all that stuff, and I give that credit to him. But did he have a big season in terms of the league, in terms of against other running backs as far as their numbers go? For what we have going on, I thought he did great. I thought it was very consistent. He's been that guy out of our backfield. But again, overall, was it a great season? It was solid, and I got to say I'm appreciative of what he's been able to do. Cody says, "Damn, I was way off." Bingo says, "Some dumb hoe." Cody, my Miami, Ohio, Ben Roethlisberger jersey. Hell yeah. Big Ben the GOAT, Tyrone. What I wouldn't do for just another season of healthy Ben. Come on. Forget about it. Cream of Some Young Ho, Tortilla. Somber says, Philip Rivers in the Big 2025. Someone pinch me, guys. Yes, that's true. If he's missed that, Philip Rivers, he did sign. He's signing back with the Indianapolis Colts practice squad. What that means, I don't know. What are they doing? Isn't there a rule? I don't know this. Throw it up on the board if you do know. Isn't there some kind of eligibility for the playoffs? Isn't there? You have to play X amount of something. I for some reason I don't know if he could come in and just go right into the playoffs. Be that the case, they're not even in a playoff spot anymore. But I'm kind of confused what it is. Yes, their number one guy, Danny Dimes, is out. I understand that. Yes, Riley Leonard is the replacement. I understand that. But what's the significance? I don't get what Indianapolis is trying to do. But they are in fact signing Philip Rivers back. He did finish his career with one season at Indianapolis. He's coming back on their practice squad as of right now. Also, what else do we got here? Let me catch up on a few more messages here before we do move on. I would love the Colts first round, bro. Hold on. Where are we at here? Okay, Tortilla, my young Hoku from the 412. That's right, baby. Tyrone says we want. I would love the Colts first round, but again, they might not even make the playoffs depending on what happens. They're out of a spot right now. This was the number one seed just 6 weeks ago when we beat them. As of right now, the Colts are out of the playoffs. So I would love to get the Colts in the first round. Mark Malone says Gainwell is pretty fucking good. I agree. I am not taking that away from him. He did play pretty good. And again, probably the most solid, consistent player throughout the course of the season. Yinzer Joe says, young 6'7" coup. Gainwell is the GOAT. Also, Bingo says we should snag Rivers off their squad just to be dicks. Wouldn't that be something? We'd have 130 years worth of quarterbacks, the ages of these guys. Bingo says that. And then also Cody says Rocky Balboa playing quarterback in Indianapolis. So there you have it, guys. Steelers, Dolphins, week 15, big matchup, Monday Night Football. Steelers are favored in this game, which is a rarity. As Tua and company, Tyreek Hill. Hill's out with that leg, right? He broke his knee in half. I think he's not even anywhere near a football field, if I'm remembering right. That's right, because we were interested in Tyreek Hill, and then his knee got blown out to hell, and so he's not anywhere in there. That's a plus. So they got Jalen Waddle. And again, their running game has picked up recently. But again, if you look at those last 5 opponents, I don't know. I just don't know. Again, they didn't look good early. They got to a bunch of bad teams. They found ways to win. I'm not sold on Miami. I think this is a very winnable game. I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers win this game when it's all said and done on Monday night. And as we did say earlier, the Steelers are coming in with their color rush uniforms. And if you missed, we do have the golden end zones this week. Pitt is done. It's going to be gold end zones. The last 2 home games of the year coming up. 2? Yeah, 2. Gold end zones, color rush uniforms on Monday. As I did mention, guys, the Land Clark referee crew will be officiating Monday night. That particular ref crew is the second fewest penalties this season, called with 129. And also the Miami Dolphins, guys, 5-42 in the last 20 years in games played below 40 degrees. And it's expected to be 18 on the North Shore. And in that, coming off the river, it's going to be even colder. So again, I like that. And even in the last 19 games, just to keep it a little bit more recent, we talked 20 games, just the last 22 games alone, guys. The last 22 games, the Dolphins are 3-19 when the weather has been below 40 degrees. Again, coming up from South Florida, that's a bit of a challenge. It's going to be cold. It's going to be frigid. And again, coming off that river, you always get that as well. So, I like that playing to our advantage. What else do we want to? What else do I got here, guys? I do want to talk about a couple things, but I can't figure out what they are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out. I pulled this every week. I always find on one particular app that I do look at on Twitter, these guys always put up these this interesting information about the past game that we just went through, and interesting stats and weird. I think it would be called like weird stats and numbers or something like this. If I could pull that up, guys, I think it's pretty interesting to read through some of these from last week. All right, so with DK's the game that DK had over the past weekend, guys, he is now 2 catches ahead of Kenneth Gainwell for the team lead. Of course, Kenneth Gainwell just this close. So again, you got to give Gainwell all the credit. He may be the team's leading receiver when the season's all said and done. With his single reception, Adam Thielen becomes the 5th Steeler wide receiver to catch to record a catch at age 35 or older. He joins Plexico Burress, Hines Ward, Terrence Mathis, and John Stallworth. Guys, Adam Thielen, the 5th Pittsburgh Steeler, at least 35 years old, to catch a pass. With his sack, Brandon Eccles recorded the first one of his NFL career Sunday. It's his first sack since 2019 at Kentucky against Mississippi State. Pittsburgh had allowed at least 210 rushing yards in back-to-back games for the first time since weeks 9 and 10 against the Oilers and Bills in 1992. So as you look at that number and you say, okay, well they got 210 yards back to back. Last time it's been done, guys, 1992, and the Oilers were still a team. Let's find another one here. The Steelers beat the Ravens despite having just 13 first downs, being outsnapped by 26 plays and outrushed by 183 yards, and recording two more penalties. Here's a couple I think you might like. Jalen Warren's 38-yard receiving touchdown was the longest by a Steeler running back since Walter Abercrombie's 51-yard touchdown pass from Cliff Stout in 1983. Jalen Warren's 38-yard touchdown reception is the longest by a Steeler running back since Cliff Stout hit Walter Abercrombie in 1983. Rodgers' touchdown pass was his 20th of the season, the most by any individual Steeler since 2021. And listen to this. This is interesting to me because the numbers haven't always gone this way, certainly this year. Brown's a breakdown of Steelers catch by position this weekend. Wide receivers, 10. Running backs, 9. Tight ends, 3. And quarterbacks, 1. When was the last time you remember our wide receiver room getting 10 catches in a game this year? Think of the guys. Scotty Miller, he's been a non-factor. Ben Skoranek, non-factor. Again, wide receivers lead the way with 10 receptions on the day. Receivers, a couple more. I don't want to do these for too long, but I think that these are interesting. I love these kind of stats and facts and information. DK, 148 yards are a season high for him, as Aaron Rodgers, 284 yards passing. With his rushing score, Rodgers became the oldest Steeler to ever have rushed a touchdown. Ben Roethlisberger was the previous holder. He did it at 39 years old during his final season in 2021. Lamar Jackson's rushing score later in the game was his first ever against Pittsburgh, meaning Aaron Rodgers had a rushing touchdown against Baltimore before Lamar Jackson did against Pittsburgh. There's your great Lamar Jackson. There's your MVP that everybody just goes on and on about. This MVP. We have an MVP. He was the MVP. Bro, Aaron Rodgers literally has a running touchdown. Who's only his first game against Baltimore as a Steeler before Lamar Jackson had a rushing touchdown against the Steelers. in his career. So interesting. One more here. Pittsburgh rushed for only 34 yards and still beat Baltimore. It's the fewest yards the Steelers have ever recorded in a win over the Ravens, beating the previous low mark of 48 yards in a 2009 win over them. So again, I love interesting statistics, numbers, things of that nature. I'd like to share them with you as well because they make you think. They make you think, God damn, that's better than I thought. Wow, that's way worse than I thought. Wow, that hasn't happened since the Oilers were a team. Wow, that hasn't happened since Cliff Stout was on the team. So again, a lot of fun going over numbers and stuff like that as well. I think you guys like them too. Let me get on the board as we are starting the round third here on the show. I'm going to go right back here to Tyrone A-Rod, the real unk. Hey, you know what? Then Phillip Rivers. I mean, what was he doing? He in the geriatric home. You know, the guy has 45 kids too, so I don't blame him. I get that. Maybe he's just maybe he's strapped for money. Remember, he's one of these guys that just kept having all these kids. Like you see him sitting in the old folks' home watching Aaron playing. You know, I could still do that. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Phillip Rivers does, what he could still do. Tortilla says, I heard they're just letting Mendoza play for the Colts Hoosiers at the same time. Well, they can use him, right? Like Mendoza a lot. Out of Indiana, of course. Tyrone, we don't got to worry about Waddle and Darren Walker. And stop the run. We got to worry about, yes, yeah, absolutely. Waddle, Walker. Again, no Tyreek Hill. Tua in the cold, Dolphins in the cold. I like our chances, guys. I really do. And stop the run, of course. Cordman Tommy says Tua will throw us the ball a few times. Just hope we can catch them. Maybe we'll throw some over to Pierre's way. I'd like to see some more James Pierre. Yinzer Joe, what happened to Derp? Who knows? That's like asking what happened to Waldo. Who knows? Lindsay, that's crazy that Mendoza's little brother is his backup. Wow, I didn't know that. Maybe a good sign if we miss on a guy like Mendoza. Cody says Joey Porter Sr. dissing Cam for saying Josh Allen stepped on me. Yeah. Cody says taking over on the JPJ holding calls. Never a bad pick, man. Tyrone, hush, those were BS. Cody says, where's Jamal at? Tyrone says called game. Fire Tomlin, Cody is saying. Tortilla, yeah, I'm like Tomlin loves drafting brothers. Maybe we'll take both Mendozas. Cody says, wow, nothing. It's not even fun anymore. What's not fun, Cody? Lindsay says, Steeler Freak says the Steelers want to run the ball and stop the run, but can't do either with so much money they spent. True failure. Tyrone says, I think we can this week. Aaron Jade says this. Didn't Rodgers break that record for passes to wide receivers in a year? Yeah, that's 11. That's the 11th Pittsburgh Steeler player to catch a pass this year, which is the most ever by the Steelers in a season. 10 different players was the record before this past week. Tyrone told everybody I worried about him. Lamar. I mean, either, bro. Dude, we've won 9 of our last 11 against the Ravens. There's nothing about that team that scares me. And you know what? And I said that going into the game. I said that when these clowns were popping up on the board. There's just nothing about this Ravens team. As I say, they're built just like us. That plays to our advantage. We know who knows us better than us. If they built their organization just like ours, as they did, I think we benefit the most from that. Yes, they benefit because, again, they are able to play us better and puts them in better spots to win this division. Again, winning the division is key, number one goal. And, again, I think just because we know them, 9 out of our last times against Baltimore, we beat them. We did 8 in a row in 9 out of the last 11. Come on. Forget about it. There's nothing about that team that scares me, especially not now. This is one of their weaker teams. No two ways about that. Mark Malone probably wants just to get away from them fucking kids talking about Phillip. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he just needs the hell out of the house. JPJ needs a pick this week. I'll certainly take that, man. I'll take any JPJ pick you could give me. Ragu, I do want to say Ragu 88404. Welcome to the Terrible Board. Great having you on the board, sir or ma'am, whichever way it may go. Ragu says hello to all. Hello, Steeler fans. I say hello and I say welcome to you. Welcome aboard the Terrible Board. Great to have you. Darren Waller, Somber. Also, Cody says, saying fire Tomlin without Jamal around. Yeah, you want to get your fire Tomlins in. Get them in now. Tortilla, Mike Tomlin for life. And then Tyrone, I'm sorry. Yeah, Waddle and Waller. Got to watch out for. I do want to say, what do I want to say? Let's, we are, as I said, we're rounding third. Guys, let's get into the trivia part of the day, into the how well do you know your enemy, how well do you know your opponent segment of the show. But before I do that, I want to say, do go check out our website over at www.d2dumyinzers.com. That's www.d2dumyinzers.com. Lots of cool things over there, guys. There is Mike puts up his dumb thoughts. Also, there is all kind of there's links to pretty much every show we ever did. Right now, we're sitting at 866, guys, 134 more to that big 1,000. That's going to be a big milestone when it gets here. Also, all kind of cool stuff over there. There's information and links for contact information for us. And then also, if you think that this logo right next to me is sharp, you could also get a whole bunch of merchandise over there you could look through, see if you like anything that has that logo. That is available as well. Go check out our website at www.d2dumyinzers.com. All right, guys, here we go. This is how well do you know your opponent? How well do you know your enemy? Question of the day, trivia. This is Miami Dolphins trivia, which is what we do every week. We do a trivia question about the team we're playing and see how much we truly know about this squad. Guys, this is going to be no different. This is a Miami Dolphins question. Put on your thinking caps. Here we go. Pretty simple one, I think. It's simple but difficult. Here we go. What year was the last year Dolphins won a playoff game? What was the last year? I'm looking for a calendar year that the Dolphins last won a playoff game. Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. every day right here on the tube. Question of the day, guys. What was the year that the Dolphins won their last playoff game? On the board, Tyrone is saying 2016. Brian saying 1995 on the board. I do want to say welcome to Brian. Always great seeing you on the terrible board, sir. I talked. I don't know if you caught it yesterday, Brian. I did talk to Phil. I think that there he is Phil right behind you on the messages. Phil says this: April 23rd, 2026, 1,000th Two Dumb Yinzers live. Terrible board show, perhaps. You know what? I think it's going to come a little later after that, just because of weekends and day like the Easter vacation, things like that. I think it's going to push it back just a little bit, but it would be great to have it right around the draft. I just think by the way that it's going to play out, it will be later, but it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. But Brian, I mentioned it to Phil. I brought up the debate yesterday. I don't know. I don't think we're going to do it, but it's still out there. I did leave it open-ended for Phil if he would rather have that and have that debate with you. It is out there for him. So I want to let you know, Brian, on that. Bingo says this: last year, Marino. Phil still says 1998. Steeler Freak John says 4 whores and 7 beers ago, the Dolphins won a playoff game. 4 whores and 7 beers. That's nice. I like it. Wait, no, 25 years, right? So 2000 is what Tyrone is saying. And Mark Malone says Tannehill won for him, eh? That's a good question. Guys, think it over. Get your answers up on the board. If you think you know it, 1776 Tortilla says, Phil says this. He says, I don't debate with fools who didn't play football and lettered in ping pong. So there you go. That has been the response so far. But I'm encouraging it. I think it could be a lot of fun. And again, it's an open invitation, so it's not going anywhere. End of day, say the Steelers should win out and get a home playoff game. You know what? They're going to get a home playoff game if they make the playoffs. The fact of the matter is we're not getting in as a wild card. I do want to say welcome to end of days. But they're not going to get in as a wild card. So if we get in, we're going to have a home game. First round game will be a home game. So we like that. All right, guys. Question of the day. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponents, guys? Question of the day. What was the last year the Miami Dolphins won a playoff game? We talk about us in 9 years. But, guys, when was the last time the Dolphins have won a playoff game? A bunch of different answers on the board. I'll give it just another second. We'll read through a few more of these comments. Tyrone, field TJ Watt for life. Tyrone, we win the division. We're the 4 seed. And it could be better. We could finish better than 4. I don't know if I want it because right now whoever's the 3 seed, Jacksonville, they get Buffalo. I would rather not play Buffalo in the first round, but it's totally doable that we could finish better than Jacksonville. Now, the other 2 teams with their 2 losses, we're not going to catch, obviously, but we could finish higher than Jacksonville. We could be a 3 seed. Tyrone says, home game. Yinzer Nation says, playing high school football doesn't make you knowledgeable about football. I think that was certainly directed toward Phil with the Brian and Phil debate situation. I do think. Bingo says this. That's kind of crazy. Home game and playoffs are not in at all. West Chicago, they were high above they were number 1 last week. And they lose 1 game, and now they're 7, almost not in the playoff spot. They got a good record. They'll get in, but just how far it could switch by 1 week, 1 game. Very, very interesting, the NFL these days. All right, guys, let's get back to it. The question of the day, how well do you know your opponent? How well do you know your enemy? Miami Dolphins question of the week. A lot of different answers up on the board. The question is, what was the last year the Miami Dolphins won a Super Bowl? Won a playoff game. Super Bowl would be back in the 70s. Last time the Dolphins won a playoff game, it was a 23-17 victory over the Colts. And that game was in 2000. 25 years. Yinzers would have burnt Acrisure Stadium down. 25 years since the Colts won a playoff game. Or Dolphins, sorry. So there you go. There you go. Let's get back on the board here. Steeler Freak says Phil chats with his high school letter jacket on. End of days, that works. Miami should turn the ball over 3 times. Phil says at Yinzer, shut the fuck up. And you're coaching a freak NFL team right now, right? Shut the fuck up. And you're coaching a freaky NFL team right now. I'm not real sure what that meant, Phil. Tyrone, he says, I'll smoke whoever in a TJ Watt debate. Tyrone says, yes, sir. Cody, I appreciate that, sir. You are the GOAT. Tyrone Maths. Is that Maths or Mathis? I know two. Could be 2. Also, Phyllis Steele says, yep, I played with Al Bundy. Yinzer Nation at Steele. The minute you can make an articulated argument, I'll shut up. Until then, I'm like in your head, rent free, you troglodyte. Damn, Mark Malone. Guys, there it is. Whenever Phil's around, it gets heated. It gets heated in here. Tortillas says, I played with Mike Tomlin. I do want to say a few things before we do get ready to wrap the show up for the day, guys. I do want to say this. If you haven't had a chance, go swing over on the internet to any of our social media, guys. We are all over the internet. We are on Facebook. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Swing by and just hit the follow button. Keep up with what the 2 Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet today, do hit the like button down below. Hit that. Hit the sub button if you're not subscribed. Also, share a comment if you'd like. It helps out in the algorithm. We appreciate it. One other thing, guys, to get ready for this big Monday night game and even through the weekend, a lot of football going on. People, like to get your buzz on. When you go to get your buzz on this weekend, do stop and get yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner. Duquesne Pilsner is beer that's made right here in Pittsburgh, and the guys over there certainly they do a lot of great things, and they do a lot of nice things for us, and they do mention us in a lot of their advertisement, and we are greatly appreciative. And we ask, just in return, maybe stop by their social media or hit the like button, follow. But I say, guys, do try to have yourself a case of Duquesne Pilsner for the big game on Monday night between the Steelers and the Dolphins, guys. Brewed right here in Pittsburgh, and it says right on the can, grab a Duke. Let me grab a couple more of the messages on the terrible board as the board is moving. And I got to be honest, if you missed a show early, I did throw a big shout out to the terrible board yesterday and everybody that's involved, guys. Yesterday, a record-setting, get ready for this, a record-setting 1,031 messages on the terrible board yesterday. Again, I'm going to give you another ovation. That is the most ever on the show. Set the record. Guys, you were truly amazing yesterday. Again, 1,031 messages on yesterday's show. Pretty damn impressive, guys. Thank you so much for that. A couple more, and we will get ready to wrap up. Phil still says at Yinzer, yeah, your Teflon Dawn to a genius in football. Okay, so he's going back and forth with Yinzer Nation now. Okay, gotcha. Tyrone says, I got a question. Right, a Steeler freak 8 years and counting with no playoff wins, 16 years and counting since no Super Bowl wins. Torta, Yinzer Nation, spelled genius is actually spelled genius. I don't, again, the two guys are going at it. Tyrone says, yeah, it could be worse, but I hope this year we will end the streak. Steeler Freak says, Tortilla, you can sue for sex abuse for sure. Tyrone, Ryan, make sure you get on. Absolutely, brother. Get on Discord. And I want to get you connected on there too. That way, like I said, get you and Jamal and all the guys. That way we could keep in touch and contact at will if we, at any given point we need to get a hold of one another. You know what, Cody? Cody is actually on there. So through Cody, I'll get you guys all set up. We'll all get set up, dude. Cody says this. I'm going to send you the. Okay, there it is on Discord. Absolutely, brother. Send that over. We'll get you all set. Okay, Bet Somber. Nobody on here. Cody. Private message. Lindsay Somber. I agree. Wait, what? Tortilla. Steeler Freak says this. He says 50% of yesterday's messages were from from abusing old Ken doll. Yeah, he was fun, man. We'll see if he comes back anytime soon. I already sent it. Awesome. Yeah, we'll get that all taken care of, guys. So we'll do that. I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We really do appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I always say you are the bloodline of this show. You know what? I always mean you are the bloodline of this show. We appreciate you more than you know. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. You guys always, always, always keep things interesting here on the show. Love the board. We truly, honestly do. As they went on and set a record yesterday, again, 1,031 messages on the board yesterday. It was unbelievable. Super, super, super numbers, guys. Thank you. And everybody at home, maybe you're in the gym, maybe you're at work, maybe you're in the car, maybe you're sitting at home watching your television and you got earbuds and whatever the case may be. Thank you too. You guys are amazing. We truly do appreciate the shit out of you. We really, truly, honestly do. You guys really make it all worthwhile. So give a great round of applause and a pat on your own back, guys, because you deserve it. I thank you, Tyrone. You, my man, are the GOAT. Tyrone knows Joey Porter Jr. Great. Thank you, Tyrone. Greatly appreciate that, sir. Everybody else, the Yinzer Nation, we thank you for that as well, my man. I don't want to miss anybody. Phil is still you as well, sir. I hope you have a great day, guys. And again, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. Tomorrow will be Picks Day. Maybe get in a little early so you don't forget your picks for tomorrow night, as the Thursday night football game does kick off week 15, and you don't want to miss that first game, especially you lose by if you're down by one win on the week. You could have definitely had it in that first game. So make sure you get over to CBS Pick'ems. If you're having trouble finding it, just click on our logo right here, right below. You click on that logo, and it'll take you right to our main page. Once you get to the main page, there's a blue link across the top. It says CBS Sports. Click on that. It takes 30 seconds. It'll take you right to our link and costs absolutely nothing. Get involved, and again, you could have your picks every week with the guys on the show, the guys on the terrible board. It's a lot of fun. I think going into week 15, it's gone really well so far. RB has been difficult to catch. He has been a solid leader for most of the season. So good for him, and good luck to everybody as we continue through these last 4 football games of the season. With that being said, also, no more bye weeks. Bye weeks are done. Bye weeks are done, guys. So if the bye weeks effed with you and you're like, why is this team playing? Well, this could hurt us. This is a half game because this team didn't play. They're done. We have a month of football left. No bye weeks. It's all football. It's all stretch. It's all seeing who the hell could get into the playoffs. It's going to be a blast, guys, certainly for our Steelers, as I think we have a favorable schedule for this December. It's kind of different from the past few years, but again, you can't let it fool you. You got to win these football games. Miami is next, guys, and again, tomorrow we'll be back at it to go over that, figure out what the hell we got to do to beat this Miami team on Monday. And again, we do have our picks. Derpy will be by, maybe Finch. I got to see what's going on with him. Let me grab a couple more of these messages before we do wrap it up, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, everybody. Cody says, I'm on the porta potty taking a Baltimore Raven. I like that. I like that. Steeler Freak says other teams' fans show up, get abused, and then never heard again. Wait, you know what? We have a way. We have a way of handling them fans, man, and I got to give you guys all the credit. We're in attack mode, and it was something to see. It was a thing of beauty. Bingo says time to start some meatballs for dinner. Sounds perfectly awesome. That sounds really good, actually. Yinzer Nation still secretly loves Tomlin. Somber, some Cody, but my personal porcelain throne. Same Cody, but my personal porcelain throne. Tortilla, did y'all know that Mike Tomlin is 6'1"? I always thought he was short. I think at one point I did know that he was 6'1", but he does kind of come off as short. He wears bigger clothes, and I think that creates the illusion that he's shorter than he is. Steeler Freak says, I think Derpy killed his female DoorDash driver and is wrapping her up in his mother's rug right now. I wouldn't put that by him. I would not put that by Derpy. Yinzer Nation is Derpy feeding her to his midgets. Guys, who knows with that guy, but he will be back tomorrow for picks. So we hope to see everybody then. We'll be back at our regular time to do it all over again. So I think that's everything. Let me just double check real quick over my notes, make sure I didn't forget anything that I would like to get out. I think we got everything. So again, thank you so much for coming and hanging out today, guys. Loved hanging out, loved talking Steelers football as always. I can't wait to do it again tomorrow at our regular time. So we do hope to see everybody then. For Mike at doing the producing work and behind the scenes, for myself, for Derpy Finch, for that matter, guys, in the two Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great Wednesday. Again, don't forget to get them CBS pick'ems in tomorrow. Tomorrow, week 15 kicks off, and we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. So until then, everybody have a great hump day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.